Hello, YouTubers, and welcome once again to another podcast where I talk and stuff and we accomplish so many great things. Today, I have no idea. Tomorrow, it'll probably snow. The day after that, it'll probably snow some more because it's Canada and it's becoming close to that time of year. Hello, hi, how's it going? I hope you're doing well. I hope you have, enjoyed your Thanksgiving weekend. If you're in a country that doesn't do that this time of year, then I hope you enjoyed your regular non-Thanksgiving-y weekend. I did pretty much nothing except homework and more homework, and I still have some homework, so feels bad. Yeah, here we are again. Last month actually, we talked about moving a lot and how terrible public education is. It's not terrible, but it's terrible. And there was stuff in the news, and probably something else happened as well. Yeah, here we are again. I just sort of turn on the recording and see what happens. That's something I wanted to address was a topic. Not a topic, a title. Title, topic, same thing. I had several ideas, but sadly most of them have already been stolen. I thought Too Long for Twitter would have been beautiful, but that's already a podcast elsewhere. Same with Off Topic. I thought Off Topic would be alright, but again, taken by some other person who's better than me. So like the one name that I've sort of settled on without that hasn't been taken already. Are you ready for this? Drum roll, please. Going Topicless. Now there's a title. It's ridiculous, I know. I like it. I think it's quite funny. It's sort of like a play on words of going topless because, going topless, it's risky. You're putting yourself out there. You're kind of improvising. Some people don't like it. Some people love it. Most people go topless, with the top on, but you're going topless because you don't give a shit. I'm doing the same thing, but with a topic, going topicless. Most podcasts have some sort of topic. Some are like games, some are politics, some are whatever other podcasts talk about. I have nothing. I just turn on the microphone and start talking. I don't know. I don't plan. Planning is not my strong suit. I can plan about several minutes at least into the future. Like I know 3 minutes from now, I will say some words, and then after that, I have no clue what's gonna happen. Yeah. But yeah, going topicless. I think it's I don't know. I kind of like it. It's kind of ridiculous. But you know what? Ridiculous is my middle name. Not legally. I think. I'll have to check my birth certificate. And it's just sort of like an intro, because I don't know if I should be like, ooh, hey, it's the podcast, welcome back. On today's episode, we have this guy, and he's famous for something. I don't know if I should do that, or if I just casually start like I do, hello, YouTubers, la 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 la. Also don't know if I want to do, the Going Topicless podcast, or just Going Topicless. That's sort of like, I think, as far as like a text title goes, I think just Going Topicless is better than the Going Topicless podcast. But if I do like an intro, then which one would sound better? Like here let's do a run through of how it would sound. So the Going Topicless podcast, so it would be like hello, YouTubers, and welcome to the Going Topicless podcast. And then we'd sort of just go on from there and talk about things. Or, hello, YouTubers, and welcome to Going Topicless. And then we'd sort of go on from there. I don't know, it's... I've been thinking about it for a while. I don't know which one I like more. The Going Topicless. See, just saying the Going Topicless podcast, I don't like that. I just like Going Topicless. Or Going Topicless podcast. No the. Although if you put it in the intro, just saying, welcome to the... See, I'm tempted to say it if I try to include podcast. I try to just put the in there. Welcome to Going Topicless podcast. No, that doesn't work either. I got a dilemma here. Which one do I want? Welcome to the Going Topicless podcast. That doesn't... I'll have to work on that. Welcome to Going Topicless. Welcome to the Going Topicless podcast. I don't know which one I like more. I think I think I prefer just Going Topicless and nothing else. I think I'll probably settle on that. But if you have provide your opinion, please, if you're listening, unless you've left already. So alone, feels bad. So yeah, title. That was a thing that I've sort of come up with. If you have a completely different title that works way better than my lame Going Topicless podcast deal type thing, then whatever. So, life update. It snowed a lot. I think last week it was the 2nd. What day was the 2nd? The 2nd was Tuesday. Tuesday of last week. Unless you're watching this like a year in the future, in which case, the 2nd of October 2018, Tuesday. The day before that, you got your colorful leaves on the ground, sunshine, birds chirping, everyone getting to work on time. In less than 24 hours, that went from beautiful fall day to holy shit, it's winter, there's 2 feet of snow on the ground. And holy crap, does a city fall apart when there's snow on the ground. It's one thing to hear it. It's like, you hear it all the time. Oh, it's a foot of snow in New York, everything's gone to chaos. There's crashes and people are skiing in the snow. There being snowshoes and things. To actually be there and witness the city crumble, especially when you have somewhere to be. I have school Monday through Friday and sometimes Saturday. So, and I'm also leaving super early. I leave like 6:30 in the morning to get to class. It's just like a 45-minute commute. I take the C train. So I'm leaving, it's like dark, and there's snow on the ground, and the trains are, I think they were roughly 10 or 15 minutes late. There were issues with switches. There were buses. The goddamn buses. I would have been on time to class that day if it weren't for buses. Literally, okay. So Calgary has the those accordion style buses where like the middle of it is sort of, it just bends. It's hard to like visually describe it. Basically an accordion. That's what they're called, accordion buses. I'm pretty sure. But like you got like the front half of the bus and then the middle of it, it's like an accordion slinky type deal, and then the back half just sort of like swivels around or whatever. I don't know why they have them. I guess that you can have a longer bus and it can still do the tight city corners. But anyway, one of these buses, in downtown Calgary, the C trains run at street level, and they run on the same street as regular transport. So buses, Calgary Transit Maintenance, and emergency vehicles, they can all use this road, the same road the C trains drive on. So one of these accordion buses is using the same road. It's virtually driving down the C train tracks. And I don't know what happened. Must have hit some ice somewhere. Something went totally wrong. But like one of these accordion buses, the ass end just sort of like swung out to let's see if you're driving. Swung out to the right, and just sort of got stuck in a snowbank. I think it was up against a pole too. So now the bus is like jackknifed on itself, and it's blocking C train traffic. So the C trains can't get through downtown. So everything stopped. The everything just shut down. The city was in chaos. There were fires burning. People died. I'm exaggerating slightly, but yeah, that was fun. And I was like, there's a station at one end of the line where I have to cross over from the red line to the blue line. However, because of that stupid, terrible garbage bus being garbage stuck in the way, none of the trains were going through downtown. So we all had to walk. We all had to walk from 8th Street all the way to City Hall. So that's like majority of downtown. Just had to walk center of downtown. It's pouring snow. It was like 2 feet. Also exaggerating that. I don't think it was like 6 inches. 6 inches of snow. Still a lot. It's a lot of snow. So here I am with a couple classmates and 500 people all walking in the same direction, trudging through 6 inches of snow, more coming down. There are traffic stopped everywhere because buses suck at winter, and they're all just crashing. On the way to school that day, I counted 5 buses that were in the ditch, and that was just on my one singular route. If you consider that there's an entire city of buses, chances are, if you do the math, it's a lot of buses. Buses are trash. Don't use buses. I learned that, I don't know if this is true, but this is what I've been told, that the buses, they used to have winter tires. They had like summer highway tires, and then they had winter tires, but the city transportation, being cheap like they all are, was like, changing to winter tires is too expensive. Just use the same tires all year round. And you can tell how well that ended up. So, yeah. Anyway, we're walking. We had to walk all the way pretty much through the entirety of downtown. By the time I get to the other end, C trains have moved again. They're going back through downtown. So that entire walk was for nothing. And I was still late because city transport is trash. Anyway, that happened. A lot of amusing events on the C train. There was one fellow in a wheelchair. This was going back to residence after class. C train's relatively empty. Me and a few of the classmates, we take the C train in the same direction to get to our homes. There's one fellow in the wheelchair, very loud, very how should I say this? Out there. He's very, very. He makes you aware that he's there. Let's put it that way. So we're at one end of the car on the C train, and he's at the other end, and you can hear him just going off about who knows what. Nothing wrong with that, you know. You can enjoy yourself. But then the guy comes wheeling down the train at top speed because the train was stopping at the same time, so like his momentum, he's still going forward even though the train is stopping. If you know how physics and momentum works, then that makes sense to you. Otherwise, if that doesn't make sense, I can't help you. But he's going down. He comes to us. He's going like probably very fast, too fast. He does like a Tokyo drift into like the side of the seat, and then he just starts talking to us, going off about who knows what, something about a lighter lost on the train or something, and then he goes off about Africa and praying. I was so confused. And then he just fucks off to the other end of the car again. And we were all just looking at each other like, what just happened? I think in his roaming up and down the car at top speed, he ended up breaking some glass too. So we had to stop at a station for a while the security investigated, making sure that we can still go, and they had to talk with him, who knows what, but I could see him out on the platform. He's one of those people that talks with their hands. Like, his hands were just everywhere. Italians, they could understand what he was saying, I'm sure. Anyway, that's some entertainment on the C train. You meet some interesting people. It was also, I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but it was going to happen sooner or later. The good old stereotype of the drunk natives on the train. Well, it's not a stereotype, it actually happens. There was one day in particular, I think it was last Friday as well. Friday the whatever. Friday the 5th. So, like, the same week we had the snow and stuff. We had gone out for lunch, the majority of the class, and then when we went on our way home, on the train, there were, I think, three natives. I could be wrong. I'm going to assume they're natives and hope that I'm not being racist. So we're gonna go with three natives. I'm, by the way they were acting, I'm pretty confident that all three of them were drunk. Two of which I believe were a couple. If they were a couple, they were an extremely dysfunctional couple. One of those couples that just sort of argues and disagrees and fights like everywhere. And then the other guy was probably more drunk than the other two combined. He's like cussing people off, telling people to get out, and give him a seat. He actually sat on me trying to find a seat, which was very uncomfortable. I felt very harassed. But anyway, someone gave him a seat, and then we were on our way. And now, the couple, they were beside me, and I have no idea what sparked the woman's outrage, but I think, like, her and the guy that she was with were disagreeing on something. I have no idea what. I didn't care. I just wanted to go home. But then, I wanted to, like, describe cause it's like one of those things where the guy is requesting something of the woman, and she's disagreeing with him, and they sort of, like, they get very heated about it for some reason. So she's getting very heated. She's getting loud, and the extremely drunk guy sitting across from her, he's sort of looking at her, and he makes conversation with her after she starts going off. It was one of those going off type deals, like, where she's had an issue for a long time, who knows how long, and she was just at that point ready to boil over, and she did do just that. So she's finally, yelling and cussing at majority of the people on the train, and the guy across from her, the very drunk native, starts to talk to her. I don't know, not politely. To use his words, said to the drunk native lady, shut the fuck up. And then, well, two drunk natives that are not in a very good mood, talking like that to each other, well, that's just entertainment at its finest, really. So the entire train ride on the blue line from, it's several stations. I had to take it from there to downtown. Basically, that entire ride, I was listening to these morons. I don't mean to be rude, but I do mean to be rude. Complete tits. Arguing drunkenly at each other. No one's listening. Sorry, no one's listening to what the other's saying. Yeah, very productive, I feel. Some people get upset when you say drunk natives on public transit. Those people, you clearly have not been on public transit. It's not I don't want to say it's like every day, but it's not exactly uncommon either. So, if you don't like that stereotype, then tell native people to stop getting drunk and going on public transit and causing a scene. That's what I have to say about that. I also took the wrong train once. That was fun. So I mentioned I have to switch trains in downtown. So on my way back, I get off usually at 7th Street, because then that's right where the red line and the blue line switch. So I get off the blue line train. I'm waiting for a red line train. And here's the thing: on the front and back of each train car, it says the destination that it's going to. It's usually the name at the end of the line. So for the direction that I was going, the Blue Line train would say 69th Street, because that's the end of the line for Blue Line. And the train that I want to get on is Tuscany, the one that says Tuscany on the top. That's the red line, end of the red line. I'm sort of like, I'm not paying attention. It's been a long day of school. I want to go home and eat and sleep. And so I'm not really entirely paying attention. I see a train pulling up to the station. Normally it alternates in the downtown areas. You see, you get a blue line train, then you get a red line train, and you get a blue line train, and you get a red line train. Occasionally it's not the same. This was one of those times. I had just gotten off the blue line train. There was another train coming up behind it once it left the station. And because I'm looking for not 69th Street. In my mind, I'm thinking, if the train isn't saying 69th Street, that's the train I'm supposed to get on. However, this is one of those exceptions when you have two blue line trains at the same time, or two red line trains in a row. This is one of the times when I had two blue line trains in a row, but the board on the top didn't say 69th Street. Instead, it said Saddletown, which is the other end of the line. My mind goes, okay, it doesn't say 69th Street, so this is the train I'm supposed to get on. And you can see where this goes wrong very quickly. I subconsciously, I noticed that it said Saddletown, but it didn't really click until I was already on the train. When I looked at the map and saw Saddletown, I was like, oh shit, that's a blue line station, I need to get off. But the doors had already locked and the train was already leaving, so I was like, ah, shit. Now I'm going the wrong way. So I hopped off at the next station, walked back, then got on a red line train, and all was fine and dandy. Got my exercise for the day. That was fun. So yeah, pay attention when you have to switch trains. Just because it doesn't say the one station you're not trying to go to doesn't mean it's the right train. So yeah, that's public transport. Pretty fun. What else? School's going well. I'm enjoying that. We're after like a couple fluffy weeks, cause, well, here's the scoop. There's been a lot of unforeseen circumstances, which have caused the scheduling to become a total fustercluck. So one instructor had broken his leg severely, so that made things difficult. Another instructor is working with the city council, Calgary City something. He works with the city. That's like his alternate job. So when he comes in for class, we have to sort of alternate. We have to work around his schedule. So that's fun. And also, one of the books we need, a bloody great expensive one called Supervision of Canada or something. Supervision in Canada? Something like that. It's the 4th edition. It's stupidly expensive, like $230, $250. It's more than 200. But the school ran out of copies of the book. We don't have, so more than half the class doesn't have a copy of this book, so we can't complete the assignments for it. So that class, which requires the book, has been pushed back significantly. So all the scheduling has been reworked to accommodate that and accommodate the broken leg and the alternate job and all that. And it's just a mess. So that resulted in us learning literally nothing in the first week of school and sort of general fluffiness in the second week of school. We're proper now. We've done several tests now already, and more to come, I'm sure. I've got a couple projects that I need to do. But yeah, that was a fun start. I don't even know what I was on about initially when I started talking. That happens a lot. Oh yeah, it was just sort of school in general. But yeah, so this book, people don't have it. Feels bad. Hard oof. But overall, though, I'm enjoying the course. I think because it's well, here's the thing about school in general. This is going to be another episode where I just complain about public education, isn't it? It sucks. Anyway, I think it's important where if you're going to learn anything, you should want to learn that thing. You should be, it should be something that you're going to spend time in. You should want to be there. This is a perfect example. This is something that I like. It's a class of my interest, so I give it my full attention. I'm committed. I do significantly better. I'm getting high 90s, and one test, the safety test, I got 100%, and signals as well. I get 100% on signals every time. Oh, that's a thing about tests. There was one test. It was last week. In relation to me talking right now. It could be something different time, whatever. Last week, we'll just assume we're all on the same page here. Last week, there was one test. I believe it was a rules test. Yes, it was a rules test, and there was 50 questions, I believe. Yes, 50 questions. And the last question was definition, which I had gotten wrong. I'd gotten all of them right except for that last one. So when we got the test back, I see on the bubble sheet there, a bubble sheet you just circle in A, B, C, or D with the corresponding question. So I had circled in D. The correct answer was B. The fellow next to me, lovely gentleman, French. He had the same question filled in as me. He put D as well, and on his test it said the answer was wrong, but on my test it said the answer was right. So obviously one of us had gotten something wrong. So of course he wants to check that, because there's a chance that he got a question right when it was actually marked wrong. So he goes up, he talks with the instructor, Paul, and he says, look in the book, look at the definition, you got the answer wrong. And I'm paying attention to this, so I do the same thing. I look in the rules book, and I find that the definition was different to that I had answered for. The correct answer was B, I put D. For some reason, it was marked correctly. So, and I'm not bragging here, being a good Samaritan, I went up and pointed out to the instructor, hey, this question is wrong. I shouldn't have 100%. Now, before you roll your eyes, this is just I'm not looking for praise here. It's just like a thing for me. Here's the thing. I would prefer to have an honest 100% than a potentially, or if I knew about it, false 100%. If there's one question or two questions, or all the questions are wrong, I would like to know that I had them wrong and be marked appropriately for it. Because, it's one of those things where if I know it's wrong and I don't mention it, it doesn't sit right with me. Like, when you're as a kid, you snuck around the house trying to steal things out of your mother's medicine cabinet or something, and like you had that deep gut feeling that told you this is wrong. That's what happens to me when I know that I got a test wrong or a question wrong and it's marked correctly. And I don't want to live with that. And like honestly, it's not getting 100%. It's not a huge deal for me, because it's a multiple choice test. You can just sort of, half the time you can just sort of guess, or the thing is with multiple choice questions, you see the answer, you see the question, and you see the answer mixed in with some that are not the correct answer. If you're so much as familiar with the material, even if you've read through it once, your subconscious will see the answer that is familiar to you. Say, oh, I've read this before, this must be the correct answer, and you write it in. So multiple choice That's why so many people like multiple choice, because it's so much easier. That's why it's easier as opposed to written answer. So not getting 100% on a test, it's, to me, just a stupid mistake. That's I know the material. I know that I'm familiar with it. The test doesn't know I'm familiar with it. That's why the answer is wrong. The answer is wrong because I made a dumb mistake. I wasn't paying attention, wrote in the wrong answer. The test says that's wrong. I know that come the real world where this is applicable, I will do the right thing because I know that I'm familiar with it. I just made a simple mistake on paper. The paper does not know that I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. So not getting 100% because of a silly mistake does not bother me. The proof to me that I know what I'm talking about is when A, I can explain it thoroughly and in detail to someone else to the point where they can understand what I'm talking about, or B, I can use this material in the real world where it's applicable, which is where these rules and stuff that we learn is going to be coming in handy most. Because on the career you have to learn to know the rules and such. So it's, high 90, that's like, hey, cool, I did well. 100%, that would be cool, but I'm not going to be butthurt if it's not 100%. And if there's a question wrong, fuck yeah, I'll point it out. It's not. Why? Why would you, if you know that the answer is wrong, if you discover an error in the marking of the test, and you know that it is incorrect when for some reason it was marked as correct, why would you not point that out? I mean, seems logic to me that if you got the answer wrong, you would know what is wrong about it and correct it, and then learn in the future what the correct answer is. Otherwise, you're just living a lie, honestly. I don't know. I know there are majority of students that discover that there's a question wrong. They probably just ignore it. Yep. Anyway, that was a rant. Was it a rant? That was a lengthy discussion about getting questions right. And yeah, it doesn't bother me. If there's one thing you can learn from this episode of the podcast, that doesn't bother me. I'm okay with not getting 100%. Anyway, so yes, class is going quite well. What else is there to talk about? I don't even know. We're at 30 minutes already. Time flies, doesn't it? Especially when you throw a clock out the window. That's a joke. I know, it was a lame joke. That's how you know when I've run out of stuff to talk about. I was hoping to do like a Q&A, but it seems like nobody wants to ask me questions. So, yeah. I even put out a tweet and a Facebook post, and still everyone was like, I got better things to do than ask a question. I've discovered through this that Facebook is garbage. Worst site. The worst of the worst sites. As far as like, there's so much about it that bothers me. First off, you have like your homepage, which I'm just gonna bring up Facebook now so I can look at this properly. But anyway, on Facebook you have your homepage, which lists all your everything. You've got like your timeline in the center. You have shortcuts, Explorer, blah 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 on the left, stories, people you may know, and your list of friends on the right. In the center, you have on Twitter what you would refer to as is it the timeline on Twitter? I don't know. Twitter feed. That's it. So you have that in the center here. Your I don't know what Facebook calls it, but it's basically everyone you're friends with. That's where you see all their posts. It's very similar to Twitter. When you follow somebody, you see their posts in the center feed. Here's the thing though, and this bothers me so much. It's not in order of post of the time it was posted. It's like, okay, this one person posted a thing 8 hours ago. If I scroll down, the next post was posted 1 hour ago. Okay, so the post after that was posted on October 5th. It's October 8th right now. Why are you showing me this? The one after that's October 4th. Why? The one after that's 8 minutes ago. What? What? What do you mean? I don't understand. That's not in order in the slightest. I want to see what people posted now, not a freaking week ago. That triggers me so much. If you keep going, I'm gonna sponsor that. Don't care. Shared a photo yesterday. Shared a link 3 hours ago. Shared a post yesterday. A lot of ones came from yesterday. Sponsored thing again. October 6th, 5 hours ago. Like, what? This bothered me so much. I can't even right now. I'm gonna stop looking at this before I fucking lose my shit. Another thing I discovered, because I had posted on Facebook, saying, hey, if you want to ask me questions, then comment on this post, blah, blah, blah. I discovered that when somebody shares a post, if they share a post, then, like on Twitter, that post is then visible on your own timeline, and it will show up because people who are friends with you, anything that you post or share will also show up in their timeline, albeit in a incompletely unrecognizable chronologicalist order. Is that a word? Chronologicalist? Chronologicalist? Not in order. But that is a different thing. So the post will show up, the shared post will show up in people's timelines if you share a post. I discovered that when you share that post, any likes, comments, or additional shares, maybe not shares, but comments definitely, likes I'm not too sure about. Hang on, what happens if I click on this? Well, that just shows the video. Okay, stop doing that thing. Definitely with comments, possibly with likes, not with shares, I don't believe. So, actually might be with shares, because looking at this now. Anyway, beneath every post you have the like, comment, share, blah, blah, blah. When somebody shares that post, and somebody does a like, comment, or share on your shared post, like the comments and the likes and the blah, blah, blah goes to you and not the original post. So like if with my post about my next podcast, when somebody shares it and somebody were to comment on that share trying to ask me a question, that question would instead go to the person who shared the post, if that makes any sense at all. It's like on Twitter you have retweet, and then you have quote tweet, where you retweet it and you have your comment above, which basically it's your own post with someone else's post within it, and any comments, retweets, likes on your quote tweet, it goes to you. That's your post that people are retweeting, commenting, sharing. It's basically that with shares on Facebook and all shares. There's no way to just share a post like you do with the retweet and it's that post, that person's post on your timeline. It essentially becomes your post saying you shared this other person's post, and any comments, etc., go to you and not the original post. You're like, why? Why would you have that? I don't understand. If I ask people to ask me questions and someone shares it and someone asks the question on that shared post, it doesn't go to me. I don't get the... It fucking bothers me so much. I hate Facebook. Use Twitter, please. Follow me on Twitter. Don't follow me on Facebook. Facebook is utter trash. Okay. We're gonna calm down now and talk about something else. When I get aggravated, boy, do I ever get aggravated. So that happened. Something that's not Facebook. What else is there to talk about? It's cloudy outside. Lots of clouds doing cloudy things. I do wish people would have asked me some questions. It would have been nice. Someone would be like, "Hey, what's your opinion on Pluto?" And then I could go off for 5 minutes going, "Pluto is this, and it should be that, but NASA says this." And that would give me something more to talk about. Instead, I just ramble about absolutely nothing. Let's talk games. Let's talk video games, and then we'll jump into the news and then wrap it up. So, video games. Well, there's one that I'm definitely excited for, and that is Red Dead Redemption 2. Holy crap, does that game look absolutely beautiful. I'm going to get some pictures up right now. Spell it right, please. Red Dead Redemption 2. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. Beautiful game from what we've seen already. It looks amazing. It looks honestly superb. Coming from, if you've played Grand Theft Auto 5 on the PS4 or Xbox One or even PC, if you played Grand Theft Auto 5, then you know how detailed the environment is. From the garbage and stuff spewing across in the cracks on sidewalks or on like old railway tracks, to like the grass growing up between the road, to the people. If you pay attention in Grand Theft Auto 5, sometimes you'll see a pedestrian walking along and they'll sneeze, they'll go achoo and everything, and there's just these tiny details that makes me just love a game. Games nowadays are absolutely superb, and you get the same level of detail just from what we've seen alone. The same level of detail, probably more than that, in Red Dead Redemption 2. There's a picture here of the environment. Look at that view. You can't see it right now, but if you could, you would be amazed. I'm definitely excited for that game to come out. When... Oh, that's the thing. It doesn't come out on PC. It's a console game. Probably October 26th comes out for, I believe, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Okay. That's depressing. I really want it on PC, but I might just get it on PS4. Depends. If there's a article released saying that, oh hey, this is gonna be on PC too in like a couple months, then I'll hold off. Otherwise, I might have to buckle down and get it on PS4. And of course, you're gonna have Red Dead Online, which I hate to say it, but it's gonna be a microtransaction-y piece of shit. That's about as far as that's gonna go. Hopefully they don't do that crap in story mode. I will cry. I will crawl underneath of my bed and suck my thumb and cry myself to sleep if they ruin story mode with microtransactions. I hope they don't, though. I don't think they will. High hopes for that. But if you've seen the success, well, quote success unquote, I think it was shit. But as far as Rockstar cares, that was success. If you saw the success of GT Online, then you know Red Dead Online is going to be the same, if not worse. You're going to have to pay real cash to buy gold and get guns and other things. I'm not entirely sure how they'll do it, honestly, because, Well, with GT Online, that's modern, and you could do just about anything: cars, car upgrades, guns. You got the all the special vehicles you can own. What does Red Dead have in the Wild Wild West? You got horses and guns. Pimp my horse, maybe that's what it'll be. Pay, $10 million in gold to get a pink horse. I mean, I guess it'll be something along those lines. Ammunition will probably be stupid expensive too. Ammunition and guns. Do you think like the way they did it with Grand Theft Auto Online is they made it an absolute grind to unlock anything. So you had to grind hard to level up in order to unlock certain weapons, clothing items. That is most definitely going to be in Red Dead Online. Clothing styles. Horses, I'm not too sure. Maybe saddles. If you want to get like a specific horse, it's got stats, speed, strength, health. That could probably be factored into your cost or your leveling up, or both. Definitely be both. First, you'll have to grind like a bitch in order to level up, to unlock the thing, and then you'll have to pay with an arm and a leg to buy the thing. That's how they did in GTA Online, and they introduced microtransactions so people could be like, I'm just gonna buy money, and then spend it all, and then kill people, because I have nothing better to do in GTA Online. So Red Dead with clothes, guns, possibly horses, that'll definitely be the case. Beyond that, I don't know what you could include that would require you to spend money. Just ammo, honestly. And then if they make ammo like stupid expensive, I don't know if I'll probably play Red Dead Online with friends and all, but I definitely won't go into online lobbies, because what happens in an online lobby? Everyone just kills everyone else. That's the way online games work. That's how they will always work. You will never change that unless you just get rid of killing people, and then nobody wants to play online anymore because people can't kill people. Tells you a lot about our society, doesn't it? So yeah, I don't really have high hopes for Red Dead Online, but the story mode, yes, absolutely. Can't wait for it. Hopefully they don't do the same microtransaction garbage. I don't know how they're going to do it, honestly, if for Red Dead Online. And if they do it in story mode, again, I don't know. Other than like the price of ammo, what else do you spend money on? Food, I guess. Well, from the gameplay trailer, there was you could shower and eat and stuff, so that could factor into it. If it works like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas and some of the other earlier GTAs where you had to eat in order to keep your health up, that could factor into it. You have to pay money to buy a meal in order to get your health up or to maintain your health, otherwise it slowly deteriorates. That was a terrible mechanic in GTA San Andreas. It bothered me so much. The amount of times I failed a mission because I was like very minimal health and I was like starving to death. Good old days. Anyway. Yeah. So that's Red Dead Redemption 2. To sum that up, that like 10 minutes of chat, Red Dead Online, meh. Story mode, high hopes. I hope they don't screw it up with microtransactions and turn it into a grindy piece of shit. So that comes out on the 26th, did I say? October 26th. Coming out sooner than that, this is sort of my own thing, I don't think anybody listening to this cares. Train Simulator 2019. And half of you just left. There's one reason in particular I'm very excited for that. And that is because the current version runs in 32-bit, which anyone who knows anything about games and computers knows that is just terrible. You do not want to have a game in 32-bit in this day and age because it crashes all the time. And for me, I have a very extensive project in Train Simulator, which, to put it simply, pushes the game to limits before seen as incomprehensive. I don't even know if that made sense. Let me try this again. To put it simply, my project pushes the game to limits before seen as unfathomable. There we go. We're going to pretend that I just said that the first time. We'll edit the last bit out. So yeah, I really push the limits with the game, and because it's 32-bit, crashes all the time. Nothing to do with my machine, it's just the game itself being trash. But with Train Simulator 2019, it is advancing to the legendary 64-bit. Oh yes. No longer, hopefully, will the game crash every 2 minutes. So ideally I can work on my project. I can put more time and effort into my project without having to save it every minute for fear of it crashing on me. So that is very exciting. That comes out on the 11th. So by the time this podcast releases, it will be the next day, the Thursday following that. Hopefully all my terrible worries will go away and I can do things without the game crashing. Be great. Yeah, there's just a little minor thing about a game no one's heard of. Battle Royale. I'm just gonna wait a minute for all the people who don't care, leave. Bye. Have a beautiful time. Are they gone? Okay, so Battle Royale. I know there's some people that couldn't care less and they've left already. Battle Royale. If you follow my Twitter, and if you don't, you should be. But if you follow my Twitter, I talk quite frequently about Fortnite. I don't know if it's still top of the charts, but it's definitely among the most popular games out there currently. So being Battle Royale, jump out of a bus, all 100 players, and you fight to be the last person standing. So yeah, that's Battle Royale in a nutshell. I played it a lot for season 4 and season 5, but it's season 6 now. I just don't really care anymore. I played it a fair bit this morning. That was like the only amount I've played it though, and we're on to like the 3rd week now. 2nd week, I think. 2nd week and a half, maybe. That sounds about right. Here's the thing that I don't like with the way Fortnite's going is it's gone very, from my personal point of view, very poor decisions as far as weapon balancing and overall balancing going. It's making terrible decisions. Just bad decisions. Bad decisions. Like the key thing that makes Fortnite unique is your ability to build. You can build a wall, a floor, a ramp, or a roof sort of around yourself, and that's the key element of the game. That's how you get around the landscape. That's how you protect yourself. That's how you get an advantage on the person you're attacking or being attacked by. The game is literally built around the fact that you're capable of building yourself a tower or something. And I think this was before season 5 that they had tried to rebalance the building, and that was a big mistake because building became essentially useless other than as a way to get around. Because what they did is they had weakened the overall health and that of like a wall, because you got 3 materials to build with: wood, brick, or metal. They all have different amount of health to them. So obviously metal is stronger than brick, brick stronger than wood. And so to defend yourself or to build over somebody to try and get the high ground on them, you would build. But because of the recent changes they've been making, building, like anything you do, wood, brick, or metal, is able to be shot down almost instantly with virtually any gun at the right range. So pretty much, let's say you're running out in the field, middle of the open, there's no way to defend yourself. Someone starts shooting at you from across the way. So your first thing you want to do is throw up a wall to defend yourself, but all the person that's attacking you has to do is just keep firing at you and keep firing at you and keep destroying the wall that you keep putting up, and eventually you run out of mats and they just kill you. That's it. Game over. You can't get around it. You can't try and build over them because they just shoot you down because the material is so weak, because Fortnite, for whatever dumb reason, is trying to rebalance, quotes, rebalance what didn't need to be rebalanced. Building, I think, before they started toying with it, was perfect. People with genuine skill, I repeat that, underline, italics, bold, skill, would use building to their advantage to best their opponents. It's very difficult to do that now unless someone deliberately tries to not shoot you down because they want to have a proper build fight. You don't see build fights anymore because people just shoot you down and you fall and you die. So that's my biggest grievance with the game. That's why I'm not playing it as much as I used to. I'm not even that good at the game, and that's not the fact. The fact that I'm not exactly great doesn't contribute to that. Even if I was great, I would be thoroughly bothered by the fact that they're making these changes. And the shit that they're adding. Like, some of the guns that they've added, some of them they've taken out, but some of them they've added are just... This is why they've been rebalancing in the first place, because these weapons and items that they add to the game throws it off balance so much that then everyone complains, and Epic Games, the creators of Fortnite, are forced to try and rebalance things, which just breaks it even more. So, ultimately, I think between people complaining and like people that aren't skilled, that's all it is, honestly, just complaining. People who don't have the skill to compete with 99 other players on a map, they complain that they're being killed with people running with two shotguns, switching back and forth so you can shoot very fast with a shotgun. That's deadly. Or they complain because they're being built up on and shot down from. These are the same people that have probably never touched a shooter before now and are only playing Fortnite because it's popular and all their friends are playing it. They don't know how to play the game and they're complaining because other people are better than them. Well, maybe if you had some skill, remember that word that I underlined and italicized and bold lettering, skill. Have the skill to play the game. Don't just complain because people are better than you. Complain because something's genuinely broken. The game wasn't genuinely broken when you were complaining. People were just better than you. And now the game is broken because Epic Games has been listening to the majority of their playership, which is people that don't know how to play the game. So you see where this is going terribly wrong. I think the root cause of this issue is that Fortnite exploded in popularity around, like, beginning of Season 3, I believe. Beginning of Season 3, it's sort of when it started to explode in popularity, and you had all these new people that had no idea how to play a shooter game playing the game now, and they're upset because the people that have been there since Season 1 have the skill and the knowledge to play the game and get the wins. They know how to play the game. All these hundreds of thousands of new people don't. Of course, now these hundreds of thousands of new people make up the majority of the player base, which is who Epic listens to. Which means Epic Games is listening to all the people that are complaining because they don't know how to play the game. So Epic Games tries to dumb down the game. I'm sure that's not their intention, but that's what it feels like. They're dumbing down the game for these new players, and it's ultimately just ruining the experience. This is what leads to not good players being able to just shoot a gun at you until you run out of materials to defend yourself with. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, it's because you don't play video games. I was rambling on there, and I've completely forgot that some people have no idea what I'm talking about. That's unfortunate. Google, it's your best friend. But yeah, so it's become a lot more casual than it used to be. You can just pick up like an SMG or a light machine gun and just spray, and you'll get the kill no matter how good the other player is. So I'm losing interest. It's not really, I don't know. It feels bad when you're like having a proper fight with somebody, and then someone comes up and they're just shooting through your wall because it crumbles with the gust of wind because it's weak, because Epic has rebalanced everything, and it's I don't enjoy it anymore. So I don't play it as much. I'll probably keep playing it just a bit, but I think I'll probably, once Black Ops 4 releases, if it hasn't already. Black Ops 4 release date October 12th, so right after Train Simulator. When that releases, I think, because it's got a battle royale mode as well. Blackout, I think. Blackout. It's got the same battle royale deal. You jump from helicopters with 99 other people, and you fight to the death to be the last one standing. When that comes out, I think I'm gonna play it a lot more. I did get out of Call of Duty because it was pretty much the same game over and over again. But this is new. This is the first time they've done battle royale. And I'm hoping that they do it better than Epic. Because if I can give one thing to Call of Duty, it's having good balance between their weapons and their supply drops. It's like, if you use one gun, there exists another gun that can counter it. Same with the score streaks. There's one score streak, and there's another score streak that can counter it, you know? So they've been in the game for a while. They know how to balance stuff properly, rather than just throwing in random guns that are overpowered and then trying to fix everything else to match that overpowered weapon. Fortnite, I'm looking at you. So chances are that Call of Duty is going to take my attention away from Fortnite, and if that's the case, well, so be it. Shouldn't have tried to fix what wasn't broken, Epic. I'm sorry, but whatever. Anyway, that's games. There are probably other games. Forza Horizon 4, I think. That was another game that's supposed to be coming out this year. Forza Horizon 4. I don't even know if it might be released already. Yep, October 2nd. It's released already. So that's another one that I'm interested in. It looked pretty nice. Oh, also, a PlayStation 4 exclusive, The Last of Us 2. I wonder if that one's been released yet. I gotta include The Last of Us 2. We don't have a release date yet, it looks like. Last of Us Part 2. I played the first one, and like, as far as gameplay goes, didn't really care for it. Like, majority of the time, it was like, here's a new mechanic. Here's a puzzle that utilizes that mechanic. Now here's the same puzzle for every chapter throughout the rest of the game. There were like some unique parts, but for the most part, it was just sneaking around zombies and shooting people, and then the basic puzzles like the girl you're with, Ella, is that her name? She can't swim, so what would happen is you would swim and she would sit on a pallet, and you would push her and the pallet over the flooded area where she couldn't swim. I swear I came across that mechanic like 4 or 5 times. The exact same puzzle. 4 or 5 different times in the game. So like gameplay wise, it's kind of there were some nice stuff that I enjoyed, but for the most part it felt like it was the same puzzle throughout the entire game. Gameplay, meh. But story mode, the story, wow. That is probably, I don't know how to explain it. The story behind The Last of Us is honestly that's what kept me in there. I was very invested when it came to the end. During the final chapter, I was like, damn, did not see that coming. And I did not see that coming. I was like, what are you doing? And then, I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, that was a lot to take in. Pretty sure I got emotional. That was definitely, I would put it up there with the Telltale's The Walking Dead for as far as story goes. They're kind of similar in that sense, where it's like not great as far as gameplay, but more like but very, very good for the story. Story was superb. Interactive movie, that's how I would describe both those games. Like an interactive movie. Anyway, so that's another game I'm looking forward to. The Last of Us 2. Alright. That about wraps that up for games. I got a few news articles we can jump into and have a look at. First one. Homelessness. Homeless people. Nanaimo candidates address growing homelessness crisis in their city. So Nanaimo, that's on the Vancouver Island, I believe. And it's being referred to as an island, so I'm going to assume I'm correct. Long story short, homelessness is an issue, and I guess there's election of sorts coming up. People are trying to figure out which candidate's going to properly address the whole homelessness issue. Let's read through, shall we? So, as the people of Nanaimo prepare to head to the polls, the hot topic of how candidates plan to fix the city's homelessness crisis is top of many minds. Is top of mind for many. There we go. First try. Are you ready to go after provincial and federal funding and play your part on the ground to purchase land for affordable housing? Signy, S-I-G-N-Y, Signy. Signy, I was saying Signy. Something. Executive Director of the United Way for Central Vancouver Island challenged the candidates. Campers at Discontent City in downtown Nanaimo face an approaching deadline to leave after the Supreme Court order was issued on September 21st. So I guess there's this fairly large area, a tent city as most would refer to it as, which is sort of packed with homeless people. Just, yeah, homeless. Feels bad. On the island, host Gregor Craigie spoke with 3 candidates about their ideas to get people off the streets and into homes. They also touched on whether Nanaimo City's council's reputation can be saved after a tumultuous term. I got that word right. Tumultuous. Yes. I could go on. Does it actually say anything interesting here? I could read through it in a minute, but my thoughts before we continue. there is a difference. There are two different kinds of homeless people. To very extremely generalize it, you have the people who have been dealt an unfortunate hand. They've been screwed over by the system and are having an extremely difficult time trying to get back on their feet. Those people are the unfortunate people. And then you have the people who made numerous bad mistakes on their own accord and have landed themselves in the situation of being homeless. So there's sort of like, you have to, I don't know, it's, do you, because the thing is with the people who've made the terrible mistakes, chances are they're the kind of people that are on the street with the board that says, you know, need money for weed or need money for booze. You know, the kind that couldn't care less about getting back on their feet and trying to make a better life for themselves. They're the people that just want to survive, and they do so with alcoholic substances. And those people, those honestly, those are the people that you shouldn't focus on. You should focus on helping the people that, the ones that were dealt a poor hand, the ones that are trying to make their lives better. Those are the people that you want to help, because if you offer them your help, then they will gratefully, they will gratefully accept your hand, your helping hand. And ideally, eventually end up, because of your help, in a better place. As for the people who have just made the mistakes and they don't care anymore, if you offer them your helping hand, what are they going to do? They're going to either bat it away or bite your hand off because they're hungry. I don't mean to laugh at it, but, you know, they're the people that they're not trying. And there's no room in the real world for people who aren't going to try. You cannot be a lazy person and survive in this world. You have to work hard, and then hopefully you can make something of it. If you just sort of sit on your arse and smoke pot and do the drugs and the alcohols, then the world's just gonna sit on you. Nothing's gonna happen. So that's sort of like, you know, you get the whole dirty bum stereotype, because there are some that are just dirty bums and they don't care, but the people that are genuinely trying, those are the ones you want to care about. And I don't think that it's, I don't know, I'm trying to sort of think what I'm about to say here before I say something I'm going to regret. If you just build houses and make them cost next to nothing or even nothing in order to live in for the homeless people, then what does that say to the people who are working their ass off, working 9 to 5, working hard day in, day out in order to barely afford their, you know, $1,000 a month of a house, and also pay for groceries and pay for their vehicle and pay for utilities and internet and satellite TV. Those people are struggling to get by, and then you build these houses and just give them to somebody because they don't have a home. Well, that's not fair. And then again, you have the people that aren't grateful for it. You have the people that are just gonna probably destroy that house and spend all their time still trying to get drugs, still just wasting their life. What's the upside? They're a bit warmer because they have a house to stay in. That's it. Obviously, the people who are genuinely trying to make better of themselves, they're going to be more grateful for it. They're going to be trying to better their lives, which is why I think this is why any topic is a difficult topic. This one in particular, that's why it's one of those left and right issues, because it's like you want to
you don't want to just sort of blow off the people who are working hard, but at the same time, you don't want to turn your back on the people who are genuinely struggling, genuinely homeless, but trying to make better for themselves just because some of them aren't going to care, I guess. So, yeah, I would say help them. Well, first off, affordable housing should just be a thing all across the board. Whether you're homeless or not, just make housing more affordable. That would be great. That would be fantastic. Everyone should be able to afford a house. But you should have to work for that house too. Otherwise, just if you want to give one person a free house, you got to give everyone a free house. So either we all work for the house that we stay in, or we all get a free house. There's no in between here, because then you're just screwing somebody. And I think we can all agree that screwing somebody is not good. So, affordable housing, definitely. I think across the board, housing should be more affordable for people. Um, but also for those who are homeless and they genuinely are trying to make their lives better, I think it would do good to have a program that would assist them in finding work that will help, that is long term, ideally. School, some of them might need to go back to school. You never know. They might be able to learn something. So programs, I'm sure there are places that already have it in place, but for the case of Nanaimo, I have no idea what they have in place as far as programs go. But assuming there aren't any, I would say put programs in place that would assist these homeless people, the ones who are trying, mind you. Everyone else who doesn't care, fuck them, he doesn't care. But for the ones that are trying to make their lives better, have programs in place that assist them in getting education if they need it, getting a job if they need it, ideally a job that will help them be able to afford the low-income housing, and then, financial support will allow them to purchase one of these houses, and then they can work from there. You can work up, get better, more high-paying jobs, whatever's available to you. And then boom, you're no longer homeless. You're no longer living off the 3 people that are kind enough to give you $5 when they walk by. Look at that. You've solved your homeless problem. It's one of those things where you have to have a goal. You have to have motivation. If you're not motivated, again, lazy bums, they're not motivated. They don't care. That's why they're still there after 30 years of living on the street. If you want to get yourself out of the homeless situation, then be willing to put in the time and the effort to make your life better. And if you're willing, people are willing to help you if you are willing to help yourself. That is the quote of the year from me. Quote me, plaster on every wall, every TV. People are willing to help you, but only if you're willing to help yourself. So if you're for the lazy bums that just don't care, all they want is enough money to buy smokes the next day, then what can you do? They'll just be homeless until they die in the street of freezing or something. It sucks, but they don't want your help, so why waste your time and money on that, right? So, yeah, but definitely for the people that are trying, those are the people that are motivated, that they have a goal. Their goal is to make a better life. That's good enough for me. Here, I'll give you a helping hand. I'll help find you a job or whatever. That's great. I feel like I've beaten the dead horse here. So that's that. Do I even need to read on with this article? I don't think so. I'm just wasting time, and we're already at an hour and 20 minutes, so. Let's go on, move on. This was a hot topic as far as politics go. Brett Kavana. I think it's just Kavana. Kavana. Too many A's. Ugh. It's good. Kavana. Ugh. It's a great name. If you're not familiar with that, I don't know if he was running for Supreme Court or if he was elected to Supreme Court or nominated for Supreme Court. I haven't even been keeping track of it myself because I don't care. But something Supreme Court, something sexual assault, you get the deal. And I'm not going to go into detail. Fuck, I think I just broke my chair. The chairs in this. Hang on, we're just going on a bit of a tangent here. The chairs in here are terrible. I don't even. There's like hardly. There is a backrest, but like no headrest. There's no wheels, and because the floor is concrete, if I try to move the chair without actually lifting it up, it just. That's terrible. That was me moving my chair like an inch across a concrete floor when it has no wheels. There's one across from me that has actual like arm bits, but they're trash, so yeah, these chairs are garbage. Anyway, where was I? Brett Kavanaugh. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure he was like nominated for some Supreme Court or something, but the whole thing was held off because a lady came forth, whose name I cannot remember. I think it was like Ford something. See if I can find it here. Yeah, Ford. I don't know what her last name is. But yeah, she came forth saying, back in my day, back in Vietnam, what am I saying? She said back in the day, I think when they were like teenagers, Brett Kavanaugh, I can't remember that last name. Kavanaugh, that's what I'm going with. Kavanaugh. She said that Brett, back when they were youngins in probably high school or whatever, him and his friend, I think, unless that was a different case. But as from what I gather, like him and his friend were like forcefully assaulting her sexually. There might have been another girl involved. I have no idea. Again, I've not been paying attention to it. The reason I've been sort of bringing this up is because we're in a very trying time right now with people, mostly women, men too, it's possible, coming forward about instances from their past, sometimes 5 years ago, sometimes 35 years ago, of having been sexually assaulted by one person or another. And the thing is, this is what, because like anything, any issue, social or political, there are two sides. Two sides, cliche. You have, in this case, we have the side that sits with the woman. They're like, yes, believe her. Put this man behind bars. And the other side that says, she's just doing it for political reasons. She's making it up. No, she's lying. And then that's got the two sides. Depending on which side you're on, when I mentioned one or the other, you immediately went, yeah, fuck those guys. Here's the thing. Both sides, and this is a bold stance, both sides are making a valid point. See, we should not go through life saying that sexual assault does not happen, especially in professional and seemingly comfortable environments, either by family, teachers, people of authority, directors, bosses. That stuff happens. We can say without a doubt that it does happen. How often it happens
it's very difficult to pinpoint. But it does happen. If you disagree with me, you're an idiot. So we know it does happen, which is why when someone comes forth, man or woman, because it can be either, usually women, when someone comes forth saying that such and such person sexually assaulted me and I would like to be reprimanded for it. That's why those of us who readily accept that such assaults do happen are willing to say, yes, I agree with you, I hear you, we should punish this person. And that's good, that's great, that's fantastic. If someone has been abused in any way, shape, or form, we should be there, willing to help them, willing to comfort them, willing to listen to their story. And ideally, do justice to the person who wronged them. I think we can all agree that justice should be served in that circumstance. But here's the thing, and it's a fair argument. Some people can come forwards with a false story, especially at a time of importance like elections. Not trying to name anyone in particular. Especially at trying times when someone comes forth with this sort of story and says this person shouldn't be allowed in office or in the Supreme Court or whatever because they did this and that to me when I was a child. And fair enough, but as people argue, kind of convenient, isn't it? Only now do you come forth right when this person who you're accusing is at a important decision in their life. Very convenient. So that's why you sort of have to take these accusations with a grain of salt when you think that these people could be hired or doing it of their own accord, making up these stories for some sort of gain. And that I'm pretty sure is illegal, so I'm tempted to say that it's not quite as likely as the story being genuine, but it is possible. Anyone can come forward and say, hey, I have been sexually assaulted by this guy. And anyone can say, who's being accused, no, I did not sexually assault this person. So it goes both ways. Either one can be lying, and you have to put them through a careful and rigorous stress test, if you will, to find out which one is lying. As for the Brett Kavanaugh, I did see like a few clips of the case hearing, and from his reactions to being questioned and the accusations, very aggressive, very loud, often try to avoid questions, often try to talk over people. That to me says, ha, guilty. So I'm inclined to say that he probably did do whatever he's being accused of. But that's not to say that in every case it's legit. There are some people who lie for one reason or another, accuse somebody of something that didn't happen. So that's why there's this two sides thing. And yeah, we need to be very careful. That's pretty much the main reason I brought this up. I'm not going to read it because I'm running long here, an hour 30. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. We have to be very careful with how we deal with these so we can find who is genuinely accused and not punish people who are being falsely accused. That's that. How to do it? I just said put them through the stress test, put them through the case hearings, put the pressure on them, because when someone's lying, they tend to break under pressure. They've got sometimes subtle, sometimes extremely obvious signs that they're telling a fib. So the pressure, put the pressure on them. Last one, I only got 3 news articles this time. Again, running pretty long, so I don't have a time on these podcasts. I just kind of I'm considerate for your time and well-being. That's also, I didn't mention this, but if you want, you can just like there's an MP3 YouTube to MP3 converter, so you can just rip this off YouTube and play it in your car or whatever. You know, you can do that. I don't care. It's on YouTube. It's free. You can do what you want with it. Just don't re-upload it for yourself. So, you know, do what you want with this. This is yours to listen to from whenever you want, anywhere. Anyway, last one. Bit depressing, but you know. UN report on global warming carries life or death warning. Yes, the next big social issue. Social issues seem to be the thing this week for news, at least on this podcast in particular. Yeah, global warming, I don't know why some people still argue against it, but some people do. So, oh well. That's them. They're just not intelligent. I think it's, if you can't tell by now that there's a bit of an issue, then I don't know what to say about you. You should probably not be allowed to vote or something. Anyway, let's read this a bit. Preventing an extra single degree of heat could make a life or death difference in the next few decades for multitudes of people and ecosystems on this fast-warming planet, an international panel of scientists reported on Sunday. But they provide little hope the world will rise to the challenge. Optimistic, I like it. The Nobel Prize-winning Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change issued its gloomy report at a meeting in Incheon? I-N-C-H, Inch, E-O-N, Eon, Incheon. I'm going with that. South Korea. So there was a report at this one place, and it was not great. It was not good news. In the 728-page document, holy crap, 728 pages. That's a lot. That's almost as many pages as my short story for creative writing class. 3 people will get that joke. In this 728-page document, the UN organization detailed how Earth's weather, health, and ecosystems would be in better shape if the world's leaders could somehow limit future human-caused warming to just half a degree Celsius from now, instead of the globally agreed upon goal of 1 degree. Among other things, half as many people would suffer from lack of water. That's a plus. There would be fewer deaths and illnesses from heat, smog, and infectious diseases. Seas would rise nearly 10 centimeters less. Significant, I think. Well, 10 centimeters, that's like 4 inches, so not a lot, but I think it adds up. Like, how high is 4 inches? That's like how much snow we got in Calgary, so a fair amount. Considerable, I think. Half as many animals with backbones and plants would lose the majority of their habitats. I don't know what backbones has to do with anything. Can backbone animals not swim? Are their backbones linked to the habitat? I have no idea. There would be substantially fewer heat waves, downpours, and droughts. I would be okay with that. Heat waves? No, don't like it. I'm tempted to move to the North Pole because it gets so freaking hot here in summer. middle of August and people are like, I'm gonna go to Hawaii, and I'm like, I'm gonna go find a snowbank and live in it. The West Antarctic ice sheet might not kick into irreversible melting. That would be a plus. Anything that can be prevented should be prevented. Especially if it's irreversible. If you get to the point where it's like, well, we can't prevent this from melting anymore, so what?
Feels bad. And it just may be enough to save most of the world's coral reefs from dying. So yes, that is global warming, bad thing. And it's I don't know why we still get opposition for this. I do know why. I know why, because it's not that the opposition just doesn't believe in global warming. Well, some of them do, but they're complete idiots, so we won't count them. But the people who are like, we don't need to worry about global warming, those are the people that think, well, I'm going to be dead in 30 to 50 years. Why should I care? Or they're like, well, we've already done the damage. There's no point in trying to fix it. Those are the people that cause a real problem as far as this goes. That is why we haven't done anything yet. That is why we are still destroying our planet, because there are so many people that are just like, well, the planet's already fucked, so who cares? And that is why we cannot have nice things, because of those people. Am I losing my voice? Talking for a while now. For some people, this is a life or death situation without a doubt, said Cornell University climate scientist Natalie Mahowald. Mahowald? Yes, I think. Lead author on the report. Limiting warming to 0.5 degrees from now means the world can keep a semblance of the ecosystems we have. Adding another 0.5 degrees on top of that, the looser global goal, essentially means a different and more challenging Earth for people and species, said another of the report's lead authors. Good God, that's a name. Ove Goldberg? I have no idea. Why can't everyone just be named Thomas Smith? I think I mentioned that in the last podcast. Thomas Smith would be so much easier. Director of the Global Change Institute in the University of blah 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 blah. On that, a different and more challenging Earth for people and species. That's the world that we have created. We've been focused. I am tired. So focused have we been on trying to make life on planet Earth easier for us, and now we're so used to it that to revert back to a perhaps slightly, perhaps extremely more difficult living time would result in, because we're so used to the soft world that we've created for ourselves. So it would be one hell of an adaptation to try and revert back to any of their old ways in order to try and save our planet. There's a good quote that I read somewhere regarding that. It's like, strong men create easy lives. Easy lives create soft men. Soft men create hard lives. Hard lives create hard men. And that's sort of that cycle. So we're in the easy times. The easy times have created the soft men. And now these soft men are starting to create the hard times. That is global warming. And that's going to get even more difficult and more difficult as we continue to do nothing about it. And then eventually it'll be an all or nothing, and we're going to have to make a dramatic change. Holy crap, this chair. I feel like it's going to break underneath of me. So yeah. But meeting the more ambitious goal of slightly less warming would require immediate draconian cuts in emissions of heat-trapping gases and dramatic changes in the energy field. While the UN panel says technically that's possible, it saw little chance of the needed adjustments happening. Again, very optimistic. I like it. In 2010, international negotiators adopted a goal of limiting warming to 2 degrees since pre-industrial times. It's called the 2-degree goal. Yep. Quality title there. I like it. Originality. In 2015, when the nations of the world agreed the historic Paris Climate Agreement, yep. When the nations of the world agreed to the historic Paris Climate Agreement, there we go, they set dual goals, 2 degrees, and a more demanding target of a 1.5 degrees from pre-industrial times. The 1.5 was at the urging of vulnerable countries that called 2 degrees a death sentence. The report is seen as the main scientific guide for government policymakers on how to implement the 2015 Paris Agreement during the upcoming Katowice Climate Change Conference in Poland in December. Threshold to be reached by 2052. Damn it, I'll still be alive then. Feels bad.
That's what everyone thinks. Everyone's like, well, I'll be dead by then, so whatever. But now it's good. Now it's like, well, shit, I'm gonna still be alive. Better try and fix this. But it's too late because all the people before you were the ones that said, I won't be alive then, so who cares? And now they've ruined everything. The world has already warmed 1 degree since pre-industrial times, so the talk is really about the difference of another half degree from now. There is no definitive way to limit goal temperature rise to 1.5 above pre-industrial levels, the UN request report said. More than 90 degrees. That's not what it says here, but that's what my mind decided to put. More than 90 scientists wrote the report, which is based on more than 6,000 peer reviews. Global warming is likely to reach 1.5 degrees Celsius between 2030 and 2052. I don't like that. I'm Canadian. We have to be kept refrigerated. If it gets too hot, then we melt. So that 1.5 degrees is bad. If it continues to increase at the current rate. Deep in the report, scientists say less than 2% of 529 of their calculated possible future scenarios kept warning below the 1.5 goal without the temperature going above that and somehow coming back down in the future. There's a picture on this article here of a bunch of people laying down, most of them either in very light clothing and or shirtless, laying on the concrete, I guess, to try and keep cool. The pledges nations made in the Paris Agreement in 2015 are clearly insufficient to limit warming to 1.5 in any way. I just don't see the possibility of doing the 1.5, and even 2 degrees looks unlikely, said Appalachian State University environmental scientist Greg Marland, who isn't part of the UN panel, but has tracked global emissions for decades for the US Energy Department. He likened the report to an academic exercise, wondering what would happen if a frog had wings. Okay. I'm pretty sure it would fly. Or at least try to. Yet report authors said they remain optimistic. See, I told you this was an optimistic article. Limiting warming to the lower goal is not impossible, but will require unprecedented changes. UN panel chief Ho-Sung Lee said in a news conference in which scientists repeatedly declined to spell out just how feasible that goal is. They said it is up to governments to decide whether those unprecedented changes are acted upon. And then this goes on to talk about heat waves being deadlier. And then there's the coral at risk. Warmer water coral reefs will largely disappear. Okay. So I guess they kind of require like reasonably cool waters, and then if the water gets too warm, then they die off. Yeah, it's not good. And that's pretty much that. So yes, global warming. It is a global issue that we all need to agree on and take immediate action to fix. How we fix it, that is to be determined, but we should work on it now. Otherwise, what are we even doing? We're just, again, it's the people that aren't wasting, they're wasting the time. All comes back to the lazy people that don't want to have to deal with it. They're happy with their easy lives and don't want to put in the effort. And that's what causes problems. That's what we've learned today. People who don't care cause problems. People who do care make their lives better and other people's lives better. I feel like I'm losing my voice. I'm talking too long. Talking for an hour and 45 minutes. Yes, I think it is time to wrap up. So that was another podcast. We had a bit of an update about my life, talked about life on the C train, talked about how great school is going, talked about some social issues, talked about video games. Very productive, I think. Next time, if there is a next time, keep an eye out on Twitter and Facebook, because I will post out a tweet or a post on Facebook, and you'll be able to ask me any questions. Literally any question you want. Anything. It could be, what is the temperature of the sun? I will answer you. It could be, what do you think of the car crash in New Mexico? And I will probably Google it and be like, I think that's terrible. You know, anything you want. I don't care. This is an open place. This is a place where we can all share our stories and share opinions and be happy. Oh, that's another thing. But I know I'm going to wrap up. I got one last thing. On one of my other videos, there was someone who posted a bit of a story of theirs. Since reasonably dark story, but point being, it was not appropriate for the video that it was posted under. These podcasts will be the place where you can post what you want. I want people. I think it's important that people share their stories. I hope to have guests on in the future that will share some of their stories of their childhood, be it great stories or terrible stories. I don't care. Share your story. Share stories. Stories are great. We can learn from each other. We can learn so much and take inspiration from each other's stories. So if you have something like that, you can post it under these podcasts. These podcasts will be sort of like, this is where we come to be us. There are no censorship here. As for other videos, if you're going to comment on any other video, try to keep to that video's topic. So that's just that. Post whatever you want. I don't care. Don't care. I don't care. Go away. The podcast is over now. Just leave. Be gone. Piss off. Please. Love you.